Hey, Randi B.
How's it going, Belle?
It's going. Welcome, everyone, to Conversations with Belle, a series where we encourage personal growth and development through discussions of real life issues in a meaningful way. Today, I'm delighted to have with us Randi B, author, speaker, activist, diversity and inclusion strategist, sister intendant, overall badass, respectfully. Welcome, 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 Randy. I'm so happy to have you here with us.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
You look amazing.
Oh, thanks. I won't stand up. I usually just take care of the top half these days.
Awesome, awesome. So we are going to just jump right on in because there are a lot of topics that I want to try and cover while I have you here for this hour. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's jump in. Derek Chauvin, the murder trial. Found guilty on all 3 counts. I must say that I didn't feel like I thought I would feel. I felt relieved. I can't say I was jubilant. I'm happy for the family, of course. I'm happy that he was found guilty. I read where someone said that the jury did, what it was supposed to do, which was confirm his humanity, George Floyd's humanity. But I was just relieved. And then I immediately became saddened for all of the other George Floyds out there known and unknown, and how those families will most likely not get justice. So it was I was emotional for a very long time. Before the verdict, I was a bundle of nerves. I was, tearful. I was, thinking what is going to happen if they don't return a guilty verdict. And can you speak to what the verdict meant for you?
Yeah, I went through the same emotions as you, where, at first I don't think I ever felt joy. Um, because it's just too sad of a situation, right?
Yeah.
I did feel relieved.
Yeah.
And I'm actually posting about this tomorrow, because I said, what came to me, and this kind of made me sad. What came to me is that hope is our currency. Like, Black Americans have never been treated well the entire time we've lived in America. There's never like a period we can say, oh, remember the good old days. Like, America has always treated us poorly. And I was like, wow, what keeps us going and pushing and striving? And I was like, we're such an incredibly resilient people. And we definitely survive only on hope. Hope is like all we have, which is sad, right? In a way. And I said, if Chauvin had not been found guilty after he had knelt on Floyd's neck for almost 10 minutes and clearly knew that he was killing that man, and we watched the life being just taken away from him, then I don't know if I could have had hope. I don't know, because I believe we are always having hope that things will improve. And had that verdict come out differently, we would have lost hope. And you don't want to deal with a hopeless people. Once you put a person in a place where they have nothing to freaking lose, that's scary, right? And so I guess I was relieved. Like you, I said, how many, weren't filmed. And that, this dude had 18 other charges against him. They're now, the Justice Department is now going to look into a teen killed a teen. It seems like almost the same way. So yeah, I guess I felt just momentary relief. But we didn't that, but that same day, here we are. You're right. So yeah. We can't catch our breaths. We cannot catch our breath.
What are you doing to preserve your mental health through all of this? Are you doing anything? Is there anything that we can do?
Yes.
It's a lot.
I am actively working to preserve my mental health, because I found myself spiraling, sad and angry, anxious. I wasn't sleeping. And so I'm working out more. I'm in LA right now. I just had a fantastic weekend with, two of my best friends from college. So I'm just treating myself just better. I am not dealing with crap I don't have to deal with. I have found that my tolerance for people who bring negativity to me is it's zero, because it takes so much energy, I find, just to keep it moving with COVID, with all the racial reckoning people are saying they're doing. I don't have the space, so I'm being extraordinarily protective of me and what I allow. I'm an open person naturally. And typically I would just let people in. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm very much like, no, come right. Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is. So are you one of the people that watch the videos? Did you watch? I haven't watched George Floyd's killing. I couldn't bring myself to watch that. I didn't watch Dante Wright. I didn't watch Ma'Khia Bryant. And that's to preserve my own sanity. Reading about it is enough. I don't need to see it. So for those people that are, I don't even really know how people can watch it. But what would you say to those people that are being re-traumatized by something you're scrolling on your feed and there it is? Like, what would you say to them?
Again, protect your space. Like, when I say protect your space, that means everything. That means Facebook, Instagram, what you're watching on TV. Like, I did see the initial video. I try to avoid. I never watched it again. because I couldn't, but I still would see clips. When the trial started, I was absolutely re-traumatized. I was absolutely not in a good space. And, I talk about, I'm a D&I person. So all day people say to me, so how's it going? I'm like, I talk all day about race to white people for the most part. It's what I do. Right. And I'll say this, I knew that if he had been found not guilty, I was not, that was it. I knew I didn't have it. I was out. I was going to be out. Like, I couldn't do it. I don't think I would have had it in me.
And isn't it sad that that was even a possibility? Because I was holding my breath. I'm thinking, they have got to find this ex-officer guilty. They have got to. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, but the stranger things have happened. So it says a lot that was even, an option. Like we were really wondering if they were going to do the right thing. And so I am happy that the citizens, the jurors in Minneapolis did the right thing for the Floyd family. Yeah.
But that's you're right. It's sad that we were, scared that it wouldn't happen. But what's even sadder, or equally sad, is the fact that everybody was so happy when it did. I was like, isn't this sad? Like, that we have to celebrate even the smallest of things. I mean, that should have been not anything for us to worry about.
Yeah.
So the fact that we were so happy that we see that we're having a cop being held accountable. People kept saying justice. I'm like, this isn't justice. First of all, he hasn't been sentenced yet. Secondly, we'll never get Floyd back. But I was like, this isn't justice. This is accountability. And that man had how many counts against him with people saying that he had abused them and that nothing was done. I mean, and what's crazy about it is 46% of Republicans believe that the verdict was wrong. 46, like, how could you look at that tape? I mean, I don't get it. They believe that the verdict was wrong. And I just don't understand.
So, this whole diversity and inclusion thing, right? We were talking about this before we came on, and I was asking you if you thought it mattered. Do you think your work matters? Of course you do, because you're doing the work, right? But do you think it's making a difference?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. A couple ways. One, what I do is I provide practical solutions for companies. So when I come in, I set out D&I plans, like a project plan. So one, I tell people, I'm not there to change anybody's heart. If you've been a racist your whole life, or you're sexist, or just a bigot, or you hate gay people, or whatever, I am not there to change your mind. I am not Yanla. I am not, the racist whisperer. I'm not there to change your mind. But what I will do is I make it very difficult for you to show your racist ways or sexist ways or in the workforce. I'm going to make it difficult, right? And so I make it where there are policies in place where people get their repercussions for acting a fool, right? It's just like we say for cops. If they know, I'm not saying we're going to change some of these bad cops from being not racist, but if they know they're being filmed, if they know that there's going to be accountability and they'll have to go to jail and they lose their pension. I'm so sick of administrative leave. I don't know if you just saw this cop in Pennsylvania that just he was drunk, as the cop was drunk, and he's like going off on this brother for no reason. And I was like, they need to know that they'll be held accountable. People will act in their best interest. People will do things when they know that they can get away with it. But I'm like, so I will go into a company and we're going to set some clear rules and policies that and it's so funny to me. People act like it's odd, but I'm like, with sexual harassment, there was never any pushback. Right? You do sexual harassment, you harass a person, you're going to be fired. You could, easy lawsuits, all this. I talk about racial discrimination and having an anti-racist statement. Companies are like, well, I mean, I don't know. Well, all of a sudden it's a problem. I'm like, you didn't say that when it was Me Too. You know what I'm saying? And so, I feel that because I'm serious about mine. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 something years. And so I interview companies. I don't take companies if they're not serious, and I push them. I'm telling you that the people with whom I work will tell you I don't play. And I fired a company just this year If they're not making the progress that I want them to make, I'm done. Right.
Yeah.
The old Randi, I will honestly say the D&I stuff I used to do back in the day. No, I think that I was a great cheerleader and would give some amazing speeches. I didn't have the guts to do what I do. It takes a level of courageousness.
Yeah.
That I have now at this age. Also, even I have a financial freedom to do certain things differently. And I believe that the pressure is on corporations now. They have to do something to get it right. They have to.
Yeah.
It's all about accountability. How can you make people, and that's what I tell people, stop, don't be quiet. When there's an issue, report it. Because the training of Black people, I believe, has been so smart because they made us feel as if we're bad for talking about racism.
Racism is the bad thing.
The racism is the bad thing, right? But I get on Randi B. They accuse me of being hateful all the time. My page Randi B has been taken down, I know 50 times. Because white people will go and say that I am hateful and dividing people because we're talking about the racist acts. Like, they want us to not talk about it, to be quiet about it. And we so believed it. We believed that if we complained that we were loud and we were the angry Black person. And I encourage people now, let that training go. Complain about it. Be the squeaky wheel. Don't allow people to get away with it, and reject this training that we have that we're bad if we talk about racism. Like, why does everything have to be about race? You built an entire country based on race. You built it. It's in the damn Constitution. You made us less than a human being. This country started on white supremacy. It was founded on it. When people say, "Oh, that's not us," it's absolutely us. It's who we were. It's what America has always been. Now we got to change it.
Yeah. In your heart of hearts, do you believe that these people, these corporations are going to change?
In my heart of hearts, I believe some corporations are going to change and some aren't, and they're not going to do it unless they're forced, and it's hard. This is the thing, Belle, and this is what I try to tell them. The demographics are changing. So by 2044, there will not be a white majority. It will not exist. Currently, there are more millennials that mark themselves as minorities than white, right? So the reason why y'all seeing people storm the Capitol and acting crazy and all that, they're scared, right? The whole system of white supremacy is being challenged. And a lot of people don't like that. I believe that we're seeing a lot of fighting because things are changing. And I do believe companies will change. Well, the hard thing about being an activist, which I would say I most definitely am, is that there's this little baby steps being made, and then we take like a big leap back. And so you don't go far fast, but we're making progress. I absolutely believe. But I will say companies will try to be performative in their activism if it is up to us to hold them accountable. So when a company says we're dedicated to diversity, then why don't you have, any minorities on the executive team? Why is your highest ranking Black person a supervisor? Challenge, be the squeaky wheel is what I'm advising people, because white people speak up when they're not happy.
Yeah, we've been conditioned not to.
Yep.
So let's backtrack to Ma'Khia Bryant. Okay.
Yes.
Why do you feel, and for those who may not know who she is, she was killed recently by a Missouri police officer. No, I'm sorry, Columbus. It was Columbus, Ohio. She was killed by a police officer after the details are still sketchy, but someone called the cops. She was involved in some type of an altercation outside of her home, and she was shot, I think, 4 times in her chest. Why do you think that we, meaning Black people, are not giving her grace? Because what I'm seeing, the commentary that I'm seeing on social media is, this was justified. She shouldn't have, but she had a knife. And, it's disheartening to me, but I wanted to get your thoughts on, why you think that is. Why do you think we're not giving the Ma'Khias grace in these type of situations when the cops have shown they can de-escalate with the person who's already killed people and who has a weapon or who's charging the police. So why aren't we giving these Black girls grace?
Oh, one is because they're Black girls. I mean, we as a people have always run to the aid and support of Black men more quickly. I mean, even if you compare Sandra Bland to the attention we've given Black boys, we just don't. I mean, Breonna is the first time I've seen more of an outcry, but we don't. So we don't protect our Black women the same way. And I would suggest that Black women have always held an allegiance for Black men in a way that some Black men have not held an allegiance to Black women. And that's a whole nother conversation, right? That's one. And two, I believe, I was telling you before we got on, I believe Black people have to own the fact that we have lived in a country that was built on white supremacy. And as woke as we think we are, we work within that system. And so we have been trained to if we're not perfect, because we're so hard on each other, right? Because we have been taught that if you just would pull up your jeans and not have them sagging, and if you wouldn't wear your hair all over your head, and if you don't curse and listen to play that rap music loud, and we have this checklist and we believe it. I hear our own people talking this shit, right? And we buy into it. And so when something happens, just like white supremacy has taught us, we're like, see, if they had not done that, because we believe in the myth that if a Black person just does the right thing, they won't get killed. And we have to understand that white people do wrong stuff all the time and they survive. There's videos all over the place of white people with knives, and they have come out of incidents alive. So we have to give ourselves, our people, the same grace that we give white people. And that is working and decolonizing our brains, decolonizing our minds. Like my boy Sinclair always says, it really does come to that. I have seen, I used to teach high school. I have seen a knife fight be de-escalated by teachers and principals without weapons. Like, I have seen it happen. And should she have had a knife? No. But if this is a young lady who's living in foster homes and things like that, I'd have a knife. You're going to have some kind of protection. You're not staying in a safe place. Girls get into fights. Boys get into fights. They will have knives. Did she deserve to die? I don't believe she deserved to die. Not for us 4 shots in the chest. I mean, why didn't he accidentally grab his taser or whatever? Like, I don't understand why she couldn't have been tasered or, I don't think she had to die. I just don't. But I see how we do. Like I said, we have been trained by the system to be so hard on each other. I particularly see it with women, how we dog each other out and stuff. Like, we've been trained.
Yeah. And even with Breonna Taylor, I mean, I see, even though she's probably the most, her case has garnered the most attention, as opposed, Sandra Bland will probably be second. But even with Breonna Taylor, there's comments, well, the guy she was with, why was she with him?
Right.
She knew what he was doing. She had no business dealing, it's blaming her with Sandra Bland. Well, she was mouthy. She should have just done, and it's just like, I'm not hearing this when we're talking about our Black men that are being killed. And yet women put on our capes, we're hashtagging, we're marching, we're contributing, and we don't question the character of the young men, and even in some cases children that have been killed. It's we're coalescing around the idea that they were killed. However, it seems that with women, there's all these other variants, that matter. What if that was I saw someone post, what if that was your daughter that, she was about to stab? I think, I'm just thinking, I don't know. 4 shots to the chest. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't think 4 shots. And I know 4 shots to the chest, and I know they shoot to kill, but I do believe that could have been de-escalated. Absolutely, you wanted the young lady who was about to be stabbed for that to be. We wanted her to be safe too, but there are ways that she could have been safe and not shoot someone 4 shots in the head. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
So how do we change that narrative? Like, how do we start to change that ideology within our community? Because nothing we can really do about white folks, but within our community and the conversations that we're having amongst ourselves, how do we start changing that idea that our girls and our women are of less value? Or is it just a byproduct of patriarchy? And we just have to operate under that. Is there a way to have that conversation so that we're easier on the girls? Because we're really hard on them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that we need to be honest about where it comes from and have these have conversations like this. Like I tell people all the time, check your thinking, like check yourself. We all do it, right? We all, if we're honest with ourselves, we all judge people immediately, even people within our own race. And so when, especially people in our own race, actually, nobody judges anybody like Black folks judge Black folks, right? We're very hard on each other. And if you find yourself doing that, say, wait, hold up, wait. I mean, I hear, it's interesting. I'm always seeing conversations about women and men. And anytime like a woman, like there's a breakup, it's like, she can't keep a man, or like, it's always on the woman. With the relationship. It's so fascinating to me that the whole responsibility of what happens in a relationship, it's seen almost as it's the woman's, on the woman's shoulders. And so we just got to watch our thinking. Like I said, like watch our thinking and watch what we say and steer conversations differently. Ask people questions like, so why? Like, why would you say that? But even how Black women are so sexualized and have to be seen that way. And it's interesting to me how I believe white women can, like when Britney Spears and them came out and were wearing all these sexy clothes and stuff, it was acceptable. But when a Black woman does stuff like that, it's like, why is she doing all that? And what's wrong with her? And she has no respect for herself. It's just interesting to me. But yeah, we just need to have these conversations.
Anyway, so you are a boy mom, just like I'm a boy mom.
Yes.
And that's a whole thing, right? Especially in this climate, right? And so we were talking before, like, how do you, I used to be really hard on my sons, making sure they're clean cut, don't wear your hair this way, pull the hoodies down. And, at some point I thought it doesn't even matter, none of this matters. Just do you. I don't want to stifle your creativity, your whatever, your expression. And so you just kind of resign yourself to the idea that, this is out of my control. There is absolutely nothing I can do when these boys leave my home, when they're at school, when my son's driving to work. It's absolutely nothing I can do. And not wearing a hoodie and being clean cut and no facial hair and not blasting rap music, none of that matters to a racist cop, right? So
they don't see you.
Yeah, they just see the skin. They don't even see the other stuff. Look at the lieutenant. I think it was a lieutenant that was pepper sprayed or maced. And he was clean cut. He was respectable. He was complying, and that cop was on 1,000 for I don't know why.
But I mean, Belle, do you know any adult Black man that has not been harassed by a cop? Like, when people seem to think this is a once, like this happens every now and then, I honestly cannot tell you. I do not have a Black male friend. I'm 50 years old. And so in my peer group, I do not have one that doesn't have at least one story. And I'm talking about educated, high-performing, successful Black men that don't have at least one. Some I have that have, like, it's like every day. Like, it was just something. So what do I regret, one of my regrets in being out. There's so many. Yeah, I never tried so hard at anything in my life, but being a mother is what I've given my greatest effort towards. But I look back and I was so hard on my sons because I was so scared. I was so scared. And what I have learned in life, if no other lesson, is everything done in fear doesn't turn out well. It's not right. So I try not to make any decisions that were based and started from a seed of fear. And so I wish I had allowed my boys more freedom to be and express who they are. I certainly did to a certain extent, but there were times that I just stifled and smothered them because I was fearful of how they would be seen and treated. from little things of how a teacher would respect them and give them grades and give them chances, and if they would see my son's potential, to driving a car. I mean, right now, my sons share a car, and they have like this hatchback, family looking Volkswagen. Right. And I realized, I have a luxury car that's a convertible. It's hot. Like men would think it was. And this is the sad part. My sons have never once asked me to drive that car. And I realized, I said, it's because they've picked up the fear that I put there. Right. Never once said, yeah, mom, I'm going out with my boys. Let me push that for the night. Look good. Right. I would have. Right. But I believe that they have picked up from my fear. And I hate that. I hate that I did that to them. Right. And yes, you should be smart, but they should be able to, be excited. Look, let me ride. Let me hold on to the ride for a night and be cute. Yeah. So, I've tried to do better, but I'm telling you, I'm scared to death.
Yeah.
And I'm scared to death when we go out. And it's interesting, what I think that white people would be interested to learn is that they talk about their fear of us and how they see us as dangerous. I am terrified of them.
Yeah.
I have always been worried if the teachers my sons had would see their true potential, would give them the education and the same chances. I worry about, even them going to a restaurant, if they're going to be given service. I worry about, of course, the police officer. So, child, you just got to pray. A lot of it, you just got to pray.
That's all you can do. Yeah, that's all you can do. And that's, and I've, if I'm honest, I still worry, until my son gets home at night, I'm worrying. Yep. Where are you? Are you okay? You good? Make sure your car's gassed up. I'm just, and even when I got him his car, I got him something that was not flashy.
Right. Yeah. They got to go practice.
I didn't want to draw attention to him. And I'm thinking that's me transferring, as you said, that fear onto him when, he wanted something a little flashier, but I'm thinking, no, no, I don't want to draw attention to you. And, so it's sad that we have to carry that, but we do carry that. And, from one boy mom to another, I feel you. If there are any boy moms watching, we feel you. And really, if you're a believer or whatever your religion or faith is, just continue to pray about that. And that's really all you can do once they leave your home. It's out of your control. I got my son a camera in his car, thinking that would help me a little bit. But I'm like, what if he forgets to turn it on, or the cop cuts it off or knocks it off so it's just like, oh my gosh, you can't control everything.
Yep. Our daughters too. We just talked about how we don't, protect our daughters as much. We talk about the boys, but our daughters too. I mean, they are certainly not being protected in the same ways in a lot of ways. So I just think as a Black person, you need to be aware of, and I was telling you earlier, not just of the crimes like the George Floyd's, but what people need to know is, like, when you saw the insurrectionists storm the Capitol, and you're seeing what people are calling the Karens in the parking lots and stuff like that. These people go to work with you. Like these people. So it's, we kind of like want to have this idea of the racist cop or whatever, but there's the racist HR manager. I think, trust me, because I've worked with them, like, they're not trying to make things fair. There's the racist grocery store attendant. There's the racist accountant. The racist VP, whatever. There's people in our systems that do little things to hurt us. And so the whole being woke stuff, I believe, be woke and be vocal.
Yeah.
But pay attention. Yeah. Pay attention, honey.
Absolutely. And James Baldwin, I'm on this James Baldwin thing right now. He said to be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a rage almost all the time. And he hit the nail on the head there, I think. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I always try not to be in that rage. I like to be aware, and sometimes I'm angry, but the rage kills us. Right. That's why we have our death rates, our high blood pressure, all of that is essentially due to the psychological racism. So I really try to not allow.
It's a heavy load to carry. It's a heavy load
Yes,
to carry.
you know what it is.
Yeah. So truthing.
Yes.
Your book.
Yes.
It's a collection of essays. What is truthing? What does that term mean? Is a Randi B ism?
It's a Randi B-ism.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Randi B-ism that I know, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, telling the truth, right? And in my language and in my voice, like I tell people, there were essays I was writing, I was like, that were raw. Like, so I was like, not grammatically correct, not whatever, just raw me, how I feel. I believe that Black people have been trained to be quiet, and we think we're scared of ourselves. We are scared of our own truths. We don't share it, and we've been trained that way. So I believe that it's therapy to hear that the way you feel is the way others feel.
Yeah.
I believe it's therapy to share and talk about things that we don't talk about. It's like everybody wants to either talk about or write about or have movies about slavery or, we can't talk about the day-to-day lives that we're living today with some honesty. And so that's what truthing is.
Yeah. So what compelled you to put this together? Did it start with one essay and you wrote another and you thought, hey, this would be great as a collection? Or was it your idea from the beginning to do a book that was a collection of your essays?
No, I've been writing essays and putting them on Randi B. I have a newsletter that comes out about every other week, although not so much lately. And so there's essays for the last 3 years of things I've thought the truth. So at the last minute, I decided to bound them and make it a book. But no, it was never. I'm not a planner really much. I just kind of go with the flow of things. Like Randi B was never this plan. None of the stuff I do is ever planned. It just goes genuinely authentically with who I am in my heart. And so it just works out for me. But I've never been that person that plans and has this is how it should be. Unfortunately or fortunately. Yeah.
It's so interesting because as I was reading, lots of times I was like, yes, this is exactly how I feel. Yes, girl, you hit the nail on the, I mean, it's a great read. I mean, you articulated in a way that it's undeniable, what you were trying to say. And it was so poignant, I thought, in some instances, but you were able to put pen to paper in a way that I probably couldn't have. It certainly resonated with me throughout. And one of the things that you hit on in here was about living, authentically, and realizing that at some point you realized you were not living or walking in the fullness of who you are. And so what was that moment like when you realized that?
Gosh, I mean, it's everyone. I mean, I really think that's what life is about. I never got it when people said, she's finding herself. I'm like, what the hell? Was this person lost? What does that mean? I just thought it was like some new age, pokey stuff. Yeah. And what I believe is that, we are these individual beings, whatever your faith is. I believe that I was uniquely designed by God, and this is who I am. And that I honor him or her by being my authentic self. Like, but it's so hard to tear down the layers because this world tells us who we should be, right? And so I tell people one of my biggest epiphanies is when I went to safari in East Africa, and I'm seeing all these crazy animals, like crazy, not the animals we normally see, the zebras, and I am seeing those too, but giraffes, but animals that don't even make sense. And the hippos are in there like chilling. And I was like, every animal was their own self. Like nobody, the giraffe was not looking like the hippo, like, oh, I want to be like the hippo. And, everybody was just doing their thing out in their land. And I said, if the creator was so creative where we have however many different bugs and flowers, and there can be a billion colors seen on one like bird out there or tree, he certainly didn't lose his creativity when it came to us human beings. And so not every human being wants to wear the same clothes, wants to get married, have 2 kids, live in the suburbs and whatever. And I said, but we've all become these robots.
Yeah.
And I said, and that's like what Facebook is to me, is that everybody's trying to prove how good they've accomplished this one thing that we're all supposed to be. Yeah. And I love the people who are like, yeah, I ain't into that. I ain't doing that. I ain't about that. I'm like, what a brave soul to say, no, that's not for me. And I was like, but that's what it is. It's like, look at me. I have the house. Look at me. I have the perfect spouse. Look at me. I have the perfect kids. And we know none of that shit is perfect because life is hard. Relationships are hard. Kids are a challenge. We have issues. And it's refreshing to me when I'm around people that aren't in a race that I don't believe that we were designed to be a part of. I believe that the race is personal. And so I'm always trying to figure out, well, who is it that you are? What is it that you're trying to be? What is it that makes you happy? And so it's been a real journey. I get better and better as I discover who I am. Like, yes, I like to travel. No, I don't feel guilty leaving my kids when I go travel. They have a daddy, right? Like I'm not, I can, and I started my company so I could be a stay-at-home mom. So I was with my kids all the time. And so it would be weird to me that I'd go somewhere for 6 days and people would say, I mean, the kid, and in particular people who work 9 to 5, you're not getting home till 6. Like I'm spending more time with my kid than you are. But even so, why compare? Like that refuels me to travel. And my kids, because I'm a travel person, they travel extensively. They've been to countries I've never been to. But that's me. If you're like, I ain't about that life, then that's okay. But I just wish people, and I think Black people are worse. I think we have it harder because we weren't given the freedom to be where our white people be like, I'm gonna dye my hair purple and you know what? I'm just gonna sell, vegan, whatever and we're like, oh yeah, you should do that. We've never had that freedom, understandably. We're just trying to make it, right? We just trying to get benefits, right? Or not be judged or not. And so I encourage all of us to try to dial into the essence of who we are, discovering that person and allowing yourself to be that person as much as you can. But it's hard.
And it's scary to people who were programmed to follow a script.
Right.
And like you say in your book, it's following a script. And so I had to figure out for myself, what I really wanted, because I was kind of following a script. And I'm thinking, this is what you're supposed to do. You do this and you go to step A, then to step B, to the C. I didn't think you could go to Z and come back to D, but as I thought I would have it figured out by now, but I don't. I'm still figuring things out. But the more confident I get in, the more comfortable I get with what I really want, and stop worrying about what other people might think of what it is I'm doing. The bolder I became. Like, I don't care what you think about how I'm living my life. I'm living my life.
Yeah, you're not paying the bill. You're not doing that
at all. Now, if I start calling you, asking you for money, then that's, then we can have a conversation. But until that day, let me do my thing as I am letting you do yours. And I find that the people who are the most judgmental about it are the unhappiest. They follow the script. They got all the things. And they're unhappy and they're mad about it. And they see you traipsing off to Indonesia.
Unhappy people,
and they're upset.
They're upset. Unhappy people don't like happy people.
Yeah.
Right. They don't. Right. And so it's been very interesting. A couple of things I've learned. The people who are for you are going to be for you. Like, my riders, my friends have been on with me through all my stuff. Right. As I'm trying to figure out who I am and whatever. And whatever it is, they're going to support me. Right. I'm sure I got some of my peeps right now watching because they're my peeps. And if tomorrow I decide that I'm going to join the circus, they're going to come to the circus.
Right.
They're going to, those are your people. And you learn who your people are real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, I tell people, when you die, not to be dramatic, there's going to be a handful of people who are dramatically affected by your death, who love you so much. Listen to those people, right? Because the rest of the people just aren't going to even be talking. They may not come to your funeral if they have something else going on. Or so you got to stop caring so much about what people think. I think I've really gotten pretty good at that. Like my bucket of fucks is pretty low.
I love it.
Really is.
I love it. I love it. Can we talk about the strong Black woman trope for a minute, right? So I think that being a Black woman is delicious, right? If I would have to describe it, I would say it's delicious. I mean, our flavor, our spirit, our wit, our different hues, the shapes and sizes. I love being a Black woman.
I do too.
Isn't it the bomb? So I can't imagine a world without Black women in it. For me, we are the nucleus. We are the center of everything.
Are it, honey. We are everything. Yes. I love us.
But that being said, underneath that is a burden, right? To be strong at all costs. And I meet so many women who have either collapsed or are collapsing under the weight of that expectation. Can you speak to that?
Oh, child, yes. We are strong. We have to be. But what I do want us to do is also embrace that we're tender and human and allow ourselves to be weak. I tell people, I remember after my mom passed, which was my greatest tragedy in life, I didn't even know how to mourn it. Like, she taught me how to be strong. She never taught me how to be weak. Like, she didn't teach me how to cry or feel sorry for myself. I knew what to do. I knew how to handle the business. I knew, you got to make sure she'll be mad if you got to open up her business the next day, all that stuff. I have learned, and it's really interesting as I talk to people, because I tell people I love them a lot. I tell people what I want. Like, I'm a vulnerable, I'm a wide open person. And I find that it makes people very uncomfortable. And it's been very interesting to me because I believe white women are allowed to be soft and show vulnerability. And I believe that men are oftentimes attracted to that vulnerability. But when a Black woman does it, there's questions about it. I believe that we haven't been allowed to be vulnerable, but I'm telling us that give yourself permission to be vulnerable. Get rid of the cape, get rid of it. Because there's actually strength in showing your vulnerability. There's strength in allowing others to see that you're human. And we deserve it because we have such stress, because we don't get a chance to relax. And we don't ever expect people to take care of us. Like, I have a hard time accepting help and people giving me things. It's interesting. For my birthday, my friends created this, did the video, and a video people could do tributes. My birthday was December 14th. I got that video December 14th. It's a 3-hour video, which is a beautiful thing. I have made it through about 1 hour, 15 minutes because people are like, well, did you see me? I can't, every video I cry and then I can't look at them for 3 days. It is hard for me to accept the love, the accolades. And I said, wow, that's so crazy that I can't, it's too much for me to accept it. And I think that we Black women have a hard time with that.
Yeah. I think I was reared that crying. What are you crying for? Well, because I'm hurt. But I was raised that, that's a sign of weakness. And I agree with you. It definitely is a sign of strength. I think that where we fall down is, one, we are vulnerable around the wrong people. And when you're vulnerable around the wrong people, sometimes it's traumatic for you because that person is not someone who really cares for you anyway. So they don't care, they don't place value on what it is you're saying or feeling. So I think we have to be really careful about who the people are that we allow to see us be vulnerable. And then it's okay to be soft and pink. It's okay to be soft and pink. And I had to make a concerted effort to tap into my femininity more because, I'm prior military. I did ROTC for 8 years. I was a single mama, so I had to be tough. But
Right.
I learned that I have to allow them to see me in those weak moments. You know what I mean? I had to allow them to, there has to be balance. And so the more in tune I became with that part of me, the happier I became because I wasn't suppressing it. And I wasn't trying to fool everybody, that I'm this soldier and I don't feel anything and nothing hurts me and I'm impenetrable and, all of that. So I just think that we have to be kinder to ourselves and allow ourselves to feel. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be weak. It's okay to need. It's okay to want. It's okay to, need a hug. I have girlfriends I could call at 3:00 in the morning and just cry and they'd let me. And so it's okay to tap into those resources when you need to. And I hate the whole strong Black woman. You're so strong. I hate it.
I know.
I'm strong, most times you're doing it because you have to do it. You don't really want to. Yeah.
But on one hand, I hate it. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about beauty and aging, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a youth-driven society.
Yes.
Okay. What advice do you have for women who are of a certain age? I'm 49, you're 50.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my peers are sliding into 50. To help them see the beauty in the fine lines and the wrinkles and the grays and the extra padding, maybe in places that you didn't have it when you were 20. Like how do we see and accept and celebrate that beauty in ourselves?
One, I would say that don't try to compare yourself to the person you were. Like one time Aunt Lena said, if you're trying to have the body you had at 25, you'll never be happy, right? And so she was like, try to have the baddest body that you like for your age. Mm-hmm. So my 50-year-old body is not my 25-year-old body. I don't care how much I work out, whatever, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen again. And to be okay with that, right? Because so many good things have come with aging.
Yeah.
I just love, right, the level of wisdom and confidence that I just relish. And so, yeah, it may mean that I'm a little softer. Okay. Also, especially Black women, let go of people telling you what you too old to wear or too whatever, all the rules. Whoever it is you are, do that. Like if, don't say, oh, I can't wear that because now I'm this, or again, that goes to being comfortable with who you are. I am still a sexual, sensual woman who wants to be sexy. I'm still that woman. Am I going to go out in booty shorts and a half top? No, but I'm going to show my shoulder. Because that's who I am. And I'm not going to say, stop being that person, probably knowing me to the day I die. But as long as I feel that way, that's who I'm going to be. And there's not this, oh, I'm 50 now, let me stop doing certain things. Like, embrace it. And hell, certain things I don't like seeing. I ain't gonna lie. Like the gray hairs, I don't like. I got a lot. I'm not excited about them. Let me not even try to, play. And like I tell people, I ain't going down without a fight. If something got where it frustrated me and I hated it, I definitely would go and get I don't know what the fillers are or something, whatever. I'd do it if I hated it. But at the same time, it's just like it's aging, right? It's what you gonna do.
And it's like we're constantly fighting it. And I'm like, you should be tired. Like your body, like you said, at 25 is not the same at 50. Some people have those great genes, but those people are few and far between. And I was not blessed with those genes. So I have to work a little harder.
It doesn't even matter what genes you have. Your body, when people say, I feel the same way as I did at 30. No, you didn't. Your body knows that those knees are 50 years old. I mean, those knees have been used for 50 years. I don't care. So yeah, I tell my friends, I was like, I used to be able to drop it like it was hot. I used to be at Tuskegee's homecoming. Now I could drop it. I don't know if I get back up. It probably can't. You
Drop
know,
it like it's warm,
like it's exactly. Go halfway
It's
down.
warm,
Just give you
I
a little
can't.
bounce, right?
I think about when I was in school and would go to the club and we get in there like 10 p.m. and be on the floor in heels until 6 a.m.
Yes.
And I'm like, there's no way.
No,
There's absolutely no way I could do that now. I need a nap.
but you can
And
still
that's
dance,
okay.
but you
That's
bring your flip
okay.
flops.
Yeah, exactly. That's okay.
Yeah.
So what's next for Randi B? What's on the horizon for you?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a good question. I would say this is a huge time of transition in my life. My baby's boy's about to go to college. I'm seriously
Yeah.
yeah, that's big, right?
Yeah.
I don't know as far as I've been doing. I would say that I'm more clueless about my future than I've ever been in my life, even at 18 and 21. Which I love. I love the fact that although I'm 50, that I'm not done growing and exploring. I still see life as an adventure. And there's still a lot I want to do. And what that's going to look like exactly, I don't know. I know that there will be travel in there. I know that there'll be, great times with friends. I know that I will be an activist. And I'm always just going to be about I'm wanting my people to live. I mean, some of the stuff I post when I'm posting stuff about traveling, that's activism for me because I don't believe Black people sometimes think about what makes us happy. And so I believe being happy and finding joy is a part of activism. So those big things I know, but I am figuring it out right now, trying to. I don't feel a whole lot of pressure though to figure it out right now.
Me either.
Yeah, I don't. I don't have a clock ticking as I used to. So there's a lot of possibilities.
Okay, so let's look at some comments here.
Yeah.
Let's see. John Garrett says, "Break a leg, my skeegy sisters." Kimala Petaway says, "Yes, zero tolerance for people that are not positive." Misha Cowler says, "I haven't watched any of the killings." Let's see what else. Grady Doc says, "Hey."
Hey, girl.
Tammy Reed Taylor says, "Yes, on pins and needles, always for my people." Tiffany Harris says, "Good conversations that we need to continue having." Tamika Wiggins says, "Love the realness here." I can't read all these, but thank you everybody who dropped a comment and who's tuned in. What does Randi B? What kind of music do you listen to when you're unwinding?
Oh, wow.
What do you like? What do you like to listen to?
I like, music is my thing.
Okay.
But,
Me
and
too.
my friends who are listening are going to be like, everything's her thing. I am a passionate person.
Okay.
So I like and excited about a lot of things, but I would say music is one.
Okay.
It depends, it depends on my mode. Sometimes, like, how our brother DMX just passed, sometimes I need like that rap that gets in my soul and hypes me up. Because hyping me up winds me down at the same time because I feel like I can handle what this life is throwing at me. Right. But then I'm like a neo soul girl too. Like I love my in my background playing my people. I like old school, but I can get down with some Cardi B. Like I'm all over the place with music. So I'm all over. It just depends on how I'm vibing right then. Like, like an old steady, of course, is like a Jill Scott. Like she just flows with me and identify, with her spirit and her earthiness. I feel that in a lot of ways I'm very similar to her. I don't know. I feel her earthiness.
Okay.
What about you?
Oh God, I'm all over the place. I love old school. I'm always listening to 80s and 90s R&B and hip hop as if it just came out. I guess I'm in some kind of time capsule, but you can always find me listening to that. I love some OJs, that if something's going on in my life, I'm going to listen to some OJs to calm me down. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Chaka Khan, old Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
Yeah. And the 80s and 90s R&B and hip hop. I'm all over that. Yeah, for sure. What was your most favorite live music concert that you've ever attended?
Well,
Is there a
okay,
show
I'm
that?
obsessed with Prince.
Okay.
So every concert I ever went to with him was life-changing. I
Okay.
mean, like,
Life-changing.
yes, that was my, because oh yeah, I mean, Prince,
Oh, weirdo.
he was, but he
So
could play every instrument
yes.
instruments that you didn't know were instruments. So he was a musical genius, and he put his heart and soul in his show. So I will say the best show, and not that this is my favorite artist, but Beyonce, towards her life, it is so perfect. She is the Virgos of Virgo is Virgos I've ever met. Like, if you've gotten a chance to see her shows like multiple times, even the way she moves her eyes is playing. Like everything is like orchestrated.
Wow.
And she puts on a performance. But of course, like going to the old school concerts and seeing, like, I have seen Aretha. I have seen her fire multiple times. And Gladys Knight, oh my gosh, she's crazy. I mean,
I love her.
Belle, I mean,
yes.
Yeah, like I love concerts. So it would be I've been going to them since I was a child. You used to go to Jazz Fest in Hampton, at the Hampton Coliseum in Hampton, Virginia. So it would choose one, but Prince, to me, I mean, Prince is my all-time favorite artist. I saw him multiple times. I saw him the show before he died. I saw him at Piano in the Dark, and so yeah.
My favorite would be Sade. I saw her in Houston, Texas.
Oh yeah,
in the
she's
late
excellent.
90s, maybe early 2000s, and I haven't seen a show since that has taken my breath away the way that show has. Like, she's like, that was like my all-time favorite show ever, hands down. I love her. I love her.
She was one of the best. Like, I was second row, which is one of the most expensive tickets I ever bought, because it was second row. She's amazing. She's amazing. And I have had some artists though I didn't like. I love their music, but I didn't care for the show.
Me too.
Yeah, we won't go negative, but
no, we won't. We won't say any names. Where can we find you on social media, Randi?
Randi B. So it's RANDI-B on Instagram. It's Randi _ B, and that's about it.
I love your website. It's fabulous.
Oh, thanks. RandiB.net.
It's fabulous. Yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah, I think Instagram shows the most of me. Facebook, we have good conversations, but join me.
Do you have any parting words for our guests, for our audience?
I just say I love you. I just love, I love my Black folks. Like, take care of yourselves, protect yourselves, particularly now. It ain't easy. So just send in my love. Send in my love.
And I just want to say publicly how much I enjoy watching your ascent. I mean, you are bold in a way that I am not yet. And I love the fact that you are unapologetically who you are on all over social media. And, I watch your videos and I'm like, wow, I don't know if I have the nerve. I have the nerve to say that. Right. But she said what I was thinking, And so I just, in any way, shape, or form that I can support you, I am going to do that. But I just want to make sure that I say in front of everybody how much I adore you and I appreciate what you're doing. I'm there with you. I'm sending you positive vibes from the ATL. And please, 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 please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. No, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you all for tuning into Conversations with Belle. You can find me across all social media outlets. I am Belle Morgan. Linktree.com/I am Belle Morgan. And I look forward to seeing everyone again soon so we can talk about real life issues in a meaningful way. Until then, have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.